Billionaire Elon Musk decided to leave everything behind and live on a deserted island, naked. Is that even possible? Can a tech giant like Elon Musk really walk away from it all? Imagine a guy who's one of the most powerful minds in tech, deciding to leave everything behind and go live naked, relying only on the raw rules of nature. Billionaire Elon Musk, questioning his own wealth and comfort, made the bold choice to head to an isolated island, completely cut off from civilization. But is this just about a physical change, or is it a deeper journey that will push his mental and emotional limits? Can someone at the top of the tech world really walk away from all the perks modern life offers? As Elon Musk dives into this survival challenge, what kind of lessons will he learn about both his body and his mind? As Elon Musk gazed out the window of his private jet, the city below seemed to sparkle like a circuit board. The technological achievements he had created around the world had a growing influence with each passing day. Yet deep down, there was a thought that constantly bothered him. What would a society look like where technological comforts were completely wiped out? How could he experience transforming his life into the fundamental survival struggle of human history? This question grew in his mind and laid the foundation for a larger plan. As a revolutionary engineer, entrepreneur, and leader in technology, Elon Musk now made the bold decision to experience a life far removed from technology and innovation. To exist in an environment untouched by electricity and modern vehicle, then what a massive contradiction. A person at the forefront of technology, experiencing a life completely disconnected from it. This new goal presented him with the greatest challenge of his life. The place Elon chose was an island deep in the ocean, far from industrialization, a place untouched by the effects of technology. It would be a place where survival skills and the essence of human nature would be tested. However, he knew that everything needed to be perfectly prepared for this experience. Before diving into the preparation stage, he spent a long time contemplating this idea in his mind. But with the courage and determination innate to Elon, he was ready for this challenging journey. Elon Musk decided to fully reset himself for this experience. He would rid himself of his wealth, fame, and well-known identity entirely. He would leave everything behind and consciously begin living a life where he would adopt a new identity. A group of trusted individuals would help him create a new identity. This identity would give him the role of a man who survived a shipwreck and lost his memory of the past. Every detail was carefully considered. He would have a worn-out look, sunburned hair, and calloused hands, subtly making everything feel like it wasn't a coincidence. With a few basic survival tools and a journal, he would start this life-changing journey carrying only one bag. The preparations were meticulous. He decided to go beyond everything he had, to step away from those who knew him, and distance himself from everyone around him for a while. But this wasn't just an external transformation, it was also the beginning of an internal journey. It was a process in which he would truly question who he was. For him, this would be not only a physical challenge but also a psychological and emotional test. Once the preparations were complete, he reached the coastal town, where he walked up to the old ship's boat and began the first step of this conscious experience of memory loss. As Elon neared the island at the end of his journey, he felt a mixture of unease and excitement. Being so disconnected from the modern world gave him a great sense of freedom, but it also frightened him. In fact, he had no idea how challenging this experience would actually be. After all, how hard would it be for a human being, so accustomed to the comforts of modern technology, to start living in nature? These were the questions running through his mind in that moment. With his eyes, he could sense the width of the river, the size of the grass, and the sturdiness of the trees. He could feel the power of nature itself. It was offering him something beyond the artificial world he was used to. When he arrived on the island, his surroundings appeared like paradise. Crystal clear waters, lush forests, and an environment where the sounds of nature never ceased. Here, the only thing one could do was survive. But surviving in such a natural and untouched world wouldn't be as easy as he had expected. He would be left to face the challenges of nature on his own, battling this world in a way he had never experienced before. The first few days were tough for Elon. Being alone on the island became unbearable both physically and emotionally. As the days went by, hunger pushed his body more and more, and his mind screamed to return to the conveniences of the modern world. But here, there was something beyond survival. No amount of money would help him catch a fish like he was doing now. One of the first things that caught his attention was the effort to find food. At first, his attempts at fishing were unsuccessful. The water was crystal clear, but catching fish seemed nearly impossible. Then his efforts to gather edible plants from nature were far below his expectations. At night, the sounds of the forest gave him an unrelenting sense of danger. Every rustle of a bush, every sound of the wind, every noise made by animals at night felt like a threat. It was a constant reminder of how alone he truly was. But at some point, this fear completely took over him. Eventually, he realized that this feeling wasn't reminding him of loss, but rather of survival. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. In this chaotic environment, there was another world outside. But in that moment, his survival instinct had taken over him in its strongest form. He needed to focus on something. Whatever nature threw at him, he had to start fighting with it in that moment. The helplessness he initially felt slowly faded away. Surviving the night felt like a victory, like taking the first step. As the sun rose, he had not only started a journey to survive, but also to nurture hope for the future. At that moment, each step was a victory, each breath the beginning of a new day. And perhaps this experience wasn't as difficult as he had once thought it would be. As the days passed, Elon's inner struggle continued. But at one point, just like an engineer, nature began offering him simple yet effective solutions. Though he struggled at first, his survival skills became much more effective over time as he developed mastery. He began making tools using tree branches and stones. After a few weeks of effort and trial, he successfully built a shelter for the first time on the island. This small but significant victory gave him a major boost of confidence. Additionally, when he finally caught his first fish, he felt an immense sense of physical satisfaction. The fulfillment he felt while preparing the fish was a pleasure he hadn't experienced in years. Leaving behind all the luxuries technology offered, focusing solely on survival, took him to another level. As the days went on, he realized that the place he was living in was not just a physical environment. The island was like a silent but powerful world within nature. Surviving in this world meant not only dealing with daily tasks, but also changing his perspective on everything around him. As humanity became accustomed to the comforts of the modern world and the rapidly changing pace, it had forgotten the slow but profound meaning that nature offered. However, Elon, by integrating with nature, was not only striving to survive but also to touch the essence of everything. The notes he wrote in his journal weren't just about survival strategies. He was starting to gain a deep awareness of how limited his life had been by the technological innovations he had been a part of. This period of time spent between challenges and simple solutions had taught him a lot. Simplicity had taken on a very deep meaning for him. The needs were simple, but their responses were profound. The survival instinct was not only transforming him physically, but also spiritually. The change brought about by existing in a world without technology had become something that strengthened him. One morning, he made a new discovery near the edge of the island. The first light of day revealed the voices of a group of indigenous people coming from the depths of the forest. Elon silently approached and began observing them. These people were living completely independent of the effects of the modern world and technology. At first, Elon couldn't predict how they would react. Approaching them as a foreign man could be dangerous. But there was also a deep curiosity. He was certainly curious about their simple yet meaningful way of life. Finally, gathering his courage, he moved closer to them. At first, the natives were suspicious of Elon's foreign appearance and identity, but over time, they began to accept him. Elon continued to watch and learn from them. These people lived in harmony with nature, spending each day observing the seasons, animals, and plants. To them, everything seemed like a much more natural and profound way of survival. Elon began learning a great deal from their lifestyle. He observed how much stronger society could be when humans had respect for nature and their surroundings. This group didn't need the benefits that either technology or the industrial world offered. All of these lessons were giving Elon a deep internal awareness. As time passed, Elon began to form a deeper connection with the indigenous people. Every day spent with them showed him how simple and balanced life could be. Each new piece of knowledge allowed him not only to think like an engineer, but also to exist in harmony with nature as a human being. The indigenous people not only taught Elon survival skills, but also showed him the depth of their social structures. how they lived together, and their decision-making processes. Every individual had a responsibility to their community. Every step and every choice was vital for maintaining the balance of the society's existence. Their way of life involved solidarity, respect, and a continuous learning process. Elon was particularly moved by the communal decision-making processes within their social structure. In a world where people in modern societies often make decisions for their own interests, the way the indigenous people came together in mutual agreement brought him a deep sense of peace. This experience helped him reshape himself. He realized that no matter how large a society was, the most important thing was respect for one another and living in harmony with nature. One evening, as they gathered around the fire, an elder explained their world to Elon. "We live here as a part of nature. Every plant, every animal, every tree is our teacher. They tell us what we need to do to survive." These simple yet profound words deeply shook Elon's understanding of the world. While technological progress could take people far, sometimes it could also make them forget basic human values. In a world that sometimes exalted technology and modern living unnecessarily, living in harmony with nature held a much higher value. One evening, as they gathered around the fire, Elon began to feel closer to the indigenous people. Over time, feeling safe and at peace, he shared some details about his forgotten past. However, as always, he preferred to keep his identity hidden. As he explained to them how people in a world dominated by technology had begun to live, he realized at one point that he himself had come from that world. They discussed how the desire of people who think about the future to own everything and control everything disrupted the balance in nature. "In our world," Elon said, "people feel valuable through screens and social media instead of connecting with each other. People are competing for likes and followers." However, the indigenous people struggled to understand this explanation. One elder quietly said, "How can all these things help you? Our value is not about how many people know us or like us, or how many people agree with what we say. Here we can see nature, each other, and what is right. Does that world have such value?" Elon couldn't answer this question, because in reality those questions constantly existed in his world too, but no one paid enough attention to them. These conversations deeply impacted Elon. What was real success? Was it knowing how many people valued you, or was it living in harmony with nature and society? That evening, the hours spent around the fire reflected moments when Elon embarked on an inner journey. These questions marked a significant turning point in his personal evolution. As the months passed, Elon's perspective changed profoundly. The simplicity of nature and the lifestyle of the indigenous people had taught him that there was a valuable way of life beyond all the technological innovations offered by modern society. Being immersed in nature every day and learning the simplest ways to survive brought Elon a great sense of peace. However, at some point, he realized that his time was running out. It was time to bring this experience to an end. His time on the island led him to think about many things in life. This solitude and simplicity had offered him a personal transformation. He no longer wanted to live his life focused solely on success. He had come to understand what people truly needed and which values were lasting. But how would this new understanding place a responsibility on him? Should he bring technology back, or should he change his relationship with it? On the final day, the indigenous people gathered to say goodbye. They gave Elon a handmade necklace as a gift. This necklace symbolized his acceptance into their community. Slowly, he had become a part of this group, but he had to leave. He could not explain to them who he was or why he undertook this experience, but his respect for their way of life would remain in his heart forever. By the time he was ready to return, Elon's appearance had completely changed. His face was bronzed from the sun, and his muscles were more defined. His personality had transformed as well. The businessman identity he once had, fighting for the world he came from, now seemed foreign to him. He was now calmer and inwardly stronger. However, returning to the past would no longer be the same. It would be possible only with a completely new perspective. When he returned, the entire world began talking about him and his transformation. The media called Elon Musk's experience an awakening. However, that moment didn't mean much to Elon. He had decided to turn this experience into something beyond the public sphere. Finally, he spoke to the world. In this talk, he spoke not about technology, but about the real values of humanity and the harmony with nature. Technology could propel society forward, but the most important thing was the true power found in simplicity. In his speech, Elon invited people to preserve natural living and the values of communities. A developed world didn't just mean having more technology. People could achieve true success by protecting their planet and living in harmony with one another. With a large donation, he decided to establish a foundation to protect indigenous cultures and nature. He aimed to invest in nature and communities rather than in technology. This change not only brought about an inner transformation, but also set him on the path to make the world a better place. Elon placed the necklace he had received from the island on his desk, marking the beginning of his journey to reshape his life. His belief in the power of simplicity and nature had reminded him what true progress meant. And this journey might not just be a beginning for Elon Musk, but for all of humanity. Elon Musk deciding to leave everything behind and live on a deserted island, naked. Sounds crazy, right? But it's not just about stepping away from the world. This whole journey is about questioning everything we take for granted in our modern lives. Here's a guy at the top of the tech world, with all the wealth, power, and comfort that comes with it, and he walks away from it all to see if he can survive in the rawest form of human existence, nature. At first, it's tough, really tough. He's struggling physically and mentally. The loneliness, the constant fight for survival, it's nothing like the world he's used to. And that's the point. This isn't just about surviving on an island. It's about finding out what really matters when all the distractions are gone. For Musk, it's a deep dive into who he is without the tech, the fame, and the fortune. What's left when everything that defines you is stripped away? As he starts to adjust, he begins to see things differently. It's not just about fishing and building a shelter. It's about learning how to live with nature, how to respect it, and how to simplify everything. The more time he spends away from technology, the more he realizes that all the stuff he once thought mattered, money, power, recognition, it's all just surface level. The real value is in simplicity. It's in being connected to the world around you, to the people who live in harmony with nature, and to the deeper meaning that comes from just being alive. Then, meeting the indigenous people on the island changes everything. They've got no tech, no distractions. They live in harmony with nature, and their values are simple but profound. They don't need technology to be successful. They need each other, and they need respect for the earth. It's a lesson Musk takes to heart. The real success isn't in how many people follow you online or how many likes you get. It's about how well you live with the world and the people around you. In the end, Musk's journey is about realizing that true progress isn't measured by how advanced our technology is. It's measured by how much we respect nature, our communities, and ourselves. It's about balance. And maybe, just maybe, that's the biggest lesson of all. Technology can help us move forward, but real success comes from reconnecting with the basics. It's a reminder that the most meaningful things in life aren't always the ones we can see or touch. They're the things we feel deep inside. As we wrap up Elon Musk's incredible journey, one thing becomes crystal clear. True success isn't measured by technology or wealth, but by our connection to nature, community, and the simple things in life. This story challenges us to step back, rethink our values, and find balance in a world that's constantly moving faster. So, let's spread this awareness together. Share this video, and let's create a movement of reflection and change. For more inspiring content like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel, hit that like button, and leave a comment below with your thoughts. We'd love to hear how this story has impacted you.